The moment I pushed open the door to the president's office, I saw the man I've loved for 3 years kneeling on the floor, carefully applying medicine to Secretary Sue Yarrow's ankle. Sue Yarrow's foot rested on his knee, her face flushed as she said, "President Liu, there's no need for this," but he replied softly, "What hurts you hurts my heart." I watched quietly for 10 seconds, then pulled out my phone and dialed my grandfather's number. "Grandpa, I've decided to agree to an arranged marriage." I stood outside Liu Tingshan's office on the 68th floor of Liu Group, holding a freshly brewed coffee. I've come to this building at least 300 times. Every time, the receptionist would smile and greet, Director Shen, and the security would proactively press the elevator for me. Everyone knows I'm Liu Tingshan's girlfriend, the woman who has been with him for 3 years and helped him secure 12 landmark projects. But today, when the elevator door opened, no one greeted me. Receptionist Xiao Lin saw me and stood up in a panic. "Director Shen, President Liu is in a meeting." "I know." I walked forward with the coffee. "He asked me to bring coffee. This is a faucet. Liu Tingshan didn't come home last night, and he didn't answer his phone. I brewed his favorite Blue Mountain." Wanting to surprise him, Xiao Lin tried to stop me but failed. I pushed open the heavy oak office door, and the coffee cup almost slipped from my hand. Liu Tingshan was kneeling on the ground. His tailored suit jacket lay on the sofa, the cuffs of his shirt rolled to his elbows. As he half-kneeled beside the coffee table, his secretary Sue Yarrow sat in his executive chair, one bare foot with a high heel removed, a red swelling around her ankle resting on Liu Tingshan's knee. Liu Tingshan held a medicated cotton ball, moving it softly, almost tenderly, as he dabbed medicine onto her ankle. Sue Yarrow's face flushed as red as blood, her voice soft. "President Liu, really, there's no need for this. I'm fine. What hurts you hurts my heart." Liu Tingshan looked up, his eyes gentle like a March breeze. "You rolled your ankle for me. How could I not take care of you?" I stood quietly in the doorway, watching this scene. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I waited for them to notice me. Sue Yarrow noticed first. She suddenly pulled her foot back, the chair slid back half a step, and her voice changed register. "Director Shen." Liu Tingshan turned around and, the moment he saw me, a flicker of panic flashed in his eyes, but it was soon replaced by his usual arrogance. He stood up, brushed imagined dust from his knees, and spoke indifferently. "What are you doing here?" I did not answer. I watched Sue Yarrow hurriedly put on her shoe, watched the blush on her face shift from shyness to embarrassment, and watched Liu Tingshan stand between her and me like protecting something precious. I suddenly wanted to laugh. 3 years. In 3 years I helped him with government relations, crafted design drawings, negotiated with those sharp client representatives. I burned countless nights, turned down offers from 3 top overseas firms, and even gave up attending the ***** prize ceremony. All because he said, "Qingwan, I need you." He needed me. Now I know what he needed was only my talent and connections. I slowly pulled out my phone from my bag, in front of them, and flipped to the contact entry that had been there for 3 years but never dialed. "Grandpa." The call connected after 2 rings, as if the old man had been waiting for this moment. "Qingwan." Grandpa's voice trembled slightly. "I've decided to agree to an arranged marriage," I said, my voice calm as if discussing what to have for dinner tonight. "Just the Ho family, the one you mentioned before, Ho Tingxiao." There was a 3-second silence on the other end, then Grandpa's voice carried a smile. "Good. Grandpa will arrange it immediately." I hung up, placing the phone back in my bag. Throughout the entire process, I didn't spare Liu Tingshan a single glance. "Shen Qingwan, what the hell are you up to?" Liu Tingshan's voice came from behind me, carrying his hallmark sarcasm. "Arranged marriage? Ho Tingxiao. Do you even know Ho Tingxiao? Why would he marry you?" I turned around and finally looked him in the eye. This man has truly handsome features, the sword-like brows, starry eyes, and a straight nose. But at this moment, that face was filled with the contempt I knew too well, a certainty that you'll die without me. "Shen Qingwan, stop with these boring tricks." Liu Tingshan took 2 steps closer, reached out to pinch my chin. "You're throwing a tantrum, I can understand, but you must face reality. Without me, you're nothing. In this circle, who gave you today's position, the resources of the Lu family. I tilted my head to dodge his hand. Without me, your design drawings are just scrap paper. Who would acknowledge you? A designer with no backing. His voice lowered, tinged with condescension. All right, stop making trouble, Su Yao and I don't have anything between us. We're just colleagues who care. Apologize, and this will be over. Su Yao whispered nearby. Director Shen, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. You don't need to apologize. I looked at Su Yao. Sit properly. Don't twist your ankle again. Su Yao was stunned. Lu Tingshan frowned. What's your attitude? I paid him no mind, pulled a stack of drawings from my bag, and laid them out on the coffee table. It was the design plan for the headquarters of the Hua Group 3 months ago. Hua Group held a global design bid. All top firms in the industry participated. Lu Tingshan had me bid in the name of the Lu family, saying, your design is Lu's. He begged for 3 months to clinch the project, even pulling every connection he had to grease the wheels. But Hua Group had not announced the results on the drawings. Hua Group's logo was in the top right corner, with a line of small text beside it, Shen Qingwan Architectural Firm. Lu Tingshan's pupils dilated suddenly. He grabbed the drawings, his hand shaking. You bid under your own firm. Are you crazy? Do you know this could ruin what ruin? I interrupted him. Your face, your ambitions, or that self-deception of yours, entirely depending on the Lu family. Shen Qingwan. Lu Tingshan slammed the drawings to the floor. You betrayed me. I lowered my head, looking at the scattered drawings, 4 months' worth of my painstaking effort. Betrayed. I lifted my head and met his gaze. Did you ever think of this word when you kneeled to rub medicine on another woman's wounds? Lu Tingshan's face twisted for a moment, but he quickly regained his composure. He took a deep breath and donned the familiar gentle mask I knew so well. Qingwan, Su Yao and I really don't have anything. You're too sensitive. Think about it. How have I treated you these 3 years? What haven't I given you? What do I want? I repeated. He nodded, his eyes firm. You want a career. I'll provide you with resources. You want status. I'll give you a platform. I want respect. The office fell silent. Su Yao held her breath, shrinking in her chair, not daring to move. Lu Tingshan's expression stiffened. 3 years ago, my voice was very soft. You asked me to give up the nomination dinner for the Pritzker Prize to come help your project. You said, Qingwan, this one depends on you. I came, the project succeeded, and at the celebration you held me and said, this woman can't live without me. 2 years ago, you asked me to help you win the urban redevelopment project in the South City. I accompanied you to schmooze and drank 8 cups of white wine. I had a stomach bleed and was hospitalized. You took one look and said, it's not a big deal, don't be so dramatic. A year ago, you told me you wanted to expand the company, and you made me sign a bet against you. I signed, using all my assets to back you. You won, and the company expanded 3-fold. You told the world, Lu Group Real Estate is all because of me, Lu Tingshan. This year, you let me bid for the Hua Group headquarters under the Lu surname. I submitted the plan, and Hua Group's people privately contacted me, asking if I would be willing to sign an exclusive contract. I refused, because I said, this is my boyfriend's project. I looked into his eyes, word by word. Lu Tingshan, I have sacrificed so much for you. You know it in your heart, but you have never respected me. Lu Tingshan's lips moved, as if he wanted to say something. You don't need to explain. I raised my hand to check my watch. 10 minutes later, Ho's legal team will contact you to officially inform you that your bid has failed, and I will, as assigned designer for Ho, take over this project. I turned and walked out. Shen Qingwan. Lu Tingshan's voice came from behind, laden with restrained anger. You think Hu Tingxiao will really marry you? You're just a tool he uses to humiliate me. You so-called aristocrats, you look down the most on women who cling to high branches like you. I stopped, not turning back. Believe it or not, in less than 3 days you'll come back begging me. His voice carried a hint of triumph. How many people in this circle have you offended? You don't know, without my protection. Those enemies of yours, Lu Tingshan. I turned around and looked at him. You protect me. I smiled. These 3 years, the injuries you've caused me are more than all of them put together. I pushed the door of the office open. In the corridor, a few executives whispered softly. Upon seeing me, they fell silent immediately. I stepped in high heels, moving toward the elevator with each step steady as walking on a red carpet. Behind me came the thunderous slam of the office door. The moment the elevator doors closed, my phone vibrated. WeChat message from Ho Tingxiao, Miss Shen. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Ho Group Top Floor Club. Looking forward to meeting you. I stared at the screen, the corner of my mouth curling up. 3 days. Lu Tingshen. You can't even wait 3 hours. When I returned to the design firm, it was already 2 in the afternoon. My studio is housed in an old Western-style house in the Creative Park. It's not large, but every inch is designed by me. In the lobby hangs a model of my work that earned a nomination for the Pritzker Prize. Along the 2 sides of the corridor are design drafts for 12 landmark projects. Assistant Xiao He saw me and his face changed. Miss Qingwan, Mr. Lu called here, saying you didn't answer his calls and asked me to relay. No need to relay. I put my bag on the desk. If he calls again, block him. Xiao He opened his mouth, not daring to ask more. I opened my computer. 23 unread emails lay in my inbox. The first 15 were from Lu Tingshen. The subject lines from Qingwan. Let's talk to Shen Qingwan. Don't go too far. And the last 3 were threats. You will regret this. I selected them all, deleted them, then opened the HR software and updated my emergency contacts. From Lu Tingshen to Ho Tingxiao. The phone rang. Not Lu Tingshen, but a strange number. I answered. Shen Qingwan. The voice on the other end was Lu Tingshen's, very low, with clenched teeth. Hate. You blocked me. Do you think this will keep me away? I'm not avoiding you. I leaned back in the chair. I'm working. Working. He sneered. Isn't your job dependent on me? Lu Tingshen. I looked out the window. Has Ho's legal team contacted you yet? There was a 3-second silence. Shen Qingwan. What exactly do you want to do? His voice changed, from anger to a kind of urgency I had never heard. That project at Ho is signed in your own name, which is a breach. Didn't you remember you signed a non-compete agreement with Lu? Non-compete agreement. I opened a drawer, pulled out a document. Is this what you're talking about? That was the non-compete agreement I signed a year ago, accompanied by a non-compete clause. At the time, Lu Tingshen said it was just a formality, and I didn't even look at it before signing. But 3 months ago, I had a lawyer examine it carefully. There are legal issues with this agreement, I said. First, you did not provide me with reasonable compensation for non-compete. Secondly, the scope is far beyond what the law prescribes. Third, enough. Lu Tingshen cut me off. What exactly do you want? Money, conditions, name your price. I laughed. Lu Tingshen. Do you remember what you said when you asked me to sign this agreement 3 years ago? He said nothing. You said, Qingwan, after signing this, we will be family, mine is yours. I recited that line, finding it ridiculous. I believed it back then. What exactly do you want to say? I want to say, I stood up and walked to the window. From the very beginning you were calculating me. This agreement is not a formality. It's a trap you laid for me. If I breach, all the copyrights to my designs will belong to Lu Group. If I don't breach, I will be your free labor for life. Shen Qingwan. You don't have to deny it. I opened a folder on the computer. I have you recording in the boardroom. You said, Shen Qingwan, that woman, use her while she has value. Kick her out when she loses it. A chair clattered on the other end of the phone. You tapped me. No, I closed the folder. It was your efficient secretary Su Yarrow who recorded it and sold it to me. The price was that I help her land a new job. Lu Tingshen's voice changed completely, laced with fear. Su Yarrow, she's with me. I glanced back at the office door. Do you want to say a few words to her? The door opened, and Su Yarrow walked in. She wore a neat professional outfit. The coyness on her face had vanished, replaced by a sharpness I had never seen before. President Lu. Su Yarrow's voice was very calm. Everything you asked me to do, I recorded, including your manipulation of Director Shen's project. Including your forging her signature. Including, shut up. Lu Tingshen roared on the phone. Su Yarrow, how much did I pay you? How could you betray me? Betray? Su Yarrow looked at me. Lu Zong, you taught me no one benefits from others' Heaven and earth will shatter. I hung up. Su Yaro sat opposite me, hands folded on her knees. Director Shin, I have organized the recordings. She pushed over a USB drive, including the proof you asked for that you had me tamper with your design drafts. I took the USB drive, saying nothing. I know you won't completely trust me. Su Yaro's voice was straightforward. I don't need your trust. I only want to tell you one thing. What? 3 years ago, when you received the Zip Prize nomination, Lu Zong intercepted the committee's email to you. My hand paused in midair. The committee had originally invited you to Chicago to receive the award, but Lu Zong replied from your email saying decline the nomination. Su Yaro's voice was soft. He said that if you won that award, you would no longer listen to him. I slowly placed the USB drive on the table. He said. Su Yaro looked at me. Shin Qingwan will live in my shadow for the rest of her life. The office fell silent for a long time. Outside the window there were birds, cars, all the sounds of the world turning normally. But in my head there was only one thought. I gave up the Prix de Lausanne. No, the Prix, wait. The Prix actually Prix de, note, the Chinese text references. Which is the Pritzker Prize for Architecture. Director Shin. Su Yaro looked at me carefully. Are you okay? I'm fine. I stood up, placed the USB drive into the safe. I've never felt this good. My phone rang again. This time not Lu Tingxian, but Hu Tingxiao, Miss Shin. His voice was deep and magnetic, carrying a natural nobility. Tomorrow morning's meeting may need to be earlier. Tonight at 7, at the top floor club of the Hu group. Is that convenient? I glanced at the time. Convenient. Good. He paused. By the way, Miss Shin, there is something I want to tell you in advance. Please go ahead. Lu Tingxian will be here tonight as well. His voice carried a hint of a smile. He arranged to talk to me about the Hu Group headquarters project, hoping for one last chance. I leaned against the desk, the corners of my mouth lifting. He doesn't know you're coming, Hu Tingxiao said. I think this should be a nice surprise. Mr. Hu, I picked up my coat. You understand what surprise means better than I thought. After hanging up, I said to Su Yao, take me to a place tonight. Where? Hu Group top floor club. Su Yao's eyes lit up. You're going to. I want Lu Tingxian to know. I buttoned my coat. What a real climbing the high branches means. When we stepped out of the law office, it was already dark. The Park District streetlights came on, their warm yellow glow spilling onto the stone-paved road. I passed by a flower shop. The shopkeeper was closing up. Seeing me, he smiled and said, Miss Shin, you have a date tonight. Sort of. I paused. Do you have red roses? Yes, the last bouquet. I bought that bouquet of red roses and held them close to my chest. 99 roses, exquisitely lush. 3 years ago, when Lu Tingxian pursued me, he sent me a bouquet of red roses to my studio every day. He said, red roses suit you just right. Later we got together. The flowers stopped, replaced by work schedules and project targets. Then, even the work arrangements turned into orders and insults. I lowered my head, sniffed the rose's fragrance, took out my phone, snapped a photo, and sent it to Hu Tingxiao. Mr. Hu, a first meeting. I'm sending you a bouquet. 3 seconds later, he replied, Miss Shin, for a first meeting. The gift I'm giving you is far more valuable than flowers. I smiled. At exactly 7, I stepped out of the elevator with the red roses and walked into the Hu Group's top floor club. The entire club was circular. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a view of the city's nightscape, lights so brilliant they seemed like a meteor shower. On the central circular bar, the bartender was swirling a shaker. The clinking ice sounded as crisp as wind chimes. Hu Tingxiao stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows. With his back to me, he wore a tailored deep grey suit, broad shoulders and long legs, and his silhouette alone exuded a presence that made people hesitant to approach. Mr. Hu. I walked over. He turned to face me. I had seen Hu Tingxiao's photos, but in person he was far more handsome. His features were sharp, eyes deep, a corner of his mouth curved with a hint of a smile. Those eyes, when he looked at a person, seemed to see through all disguises, but at this moment, his gaze was fixed on the red roses in my arms. Miss Shin. He took the flowers, leaned down to sniff them. 99. Yes, I remember the language of flowers is everlasting. He placed The flowers on the bar, Miss Shen. Is this you wanting to be everlasting with me? Mr. Hu is joking. I sat opposite him. I just think, for a first meeting, bringing a bouquet is more polite. Polite. He sat down across from me, his long fingers tapping the table. Miss Shen. We're talking about a marriage of convenience, not a blind date. I looked up at him. The essence of a marriage of convenience is a transaction. His voice was calm. You contribute your abilities, I contribute my resources. You help me deal with Lu Group, I help you take back everything that belongs to you. And you? I asked. What do you want? Hu Tingxiao looked at me for 3 seconds, then smiled. That smile was faint, but his eyes held a certain emotion I couldn't understand. To make you hate Lu Tingshan, he said. Hate him thoroughly. The elevator doors opened. Lu Tingshan walked in, followed by 2 assistants. The moment he saw me, his expression was spectacularly rich, a mix of shock, anger, unwillingness, and finally, all turned into a hypocritical smile. Mr. Hu. He hurried over, extended his hand. Long time no see. I've heard about you. Hu Tingxiao didn't stand up, only nodding slightly. President Lu, please sit. Lu Tingshan's hand hung in midair, stiff for 2 seconds. Then retracted. He sat next to me, his gaze skimmed over me, lowering his voice. Why are you here? I didn't look at him. Picked up the red wine that Hu Tingxiao poured for me, took a sip. Miss Shen is someone I invited. Hu Tingxiao leaned against the back of his chair. She is the chief designer of the Hu Group headquarters project. She must attend tonight's meeting. Lu Tingshan's expression changed several times. President Hu, there is something you may not know. Shun Qingwan has signed a non-competition agreement with Lu Group. She signed in her personal name. This is a breach. Oh, Hu Tingxiao glanced at me. Miss Shen, is that so? I pulled from my bag a photocopy of the agreement and placed it on the table. President Hu. This agreement has legal validity issues. I pushed the copy over. My legal team has evaluated it. If we go through legal channels, the chances of winning exceed 95%. Lu Tingchen reached to snatch the document, but was blocked by Hu Tingxiao's assistant. President Lu. Hu Tingxiao's voice called. On my turf. Mind your boundaries. Lu Tingchen's face flushed red. President Hu. Listen to me, he sighed deeply. Shen Qingwan is a person you don't understand. She's just a climber. She climbed me 3 years ago. Now she wants to climb you. Lu Tingchen. I set the wine glass down, looking at him. 3 years ago, who knelt at the door of my studio, begging me to work with you. Lu Tingchen's pupils contracted. You said, Qingwan, without you, my company would fail. My voice was calm. I agreed, on the condition that you respect me, give me the rightful naming rights and share. But you didn't give me any of that. You took my designs and put your name on them. You intercepted my prize notices, ruined my Pritzker prize. You used a bet agreement to control me, used PUA to belittle me, used infidelity to humiliate me. I looked into his eyes, word by word. Lu Tingchen, what you owe me. Tonight I will settle bill by bill. The club was so quiet you could hear breathing. Lu Tingchen's 2 assistants hung their heads, not daring to look at him. The mixologist had retreated out at some point. Only the city lights outside the floor-to-ceiling windows kept shining tirelessly. Hu Tingxiao began to clap slowly. Brilliant. He stood up, walked to my side, placing his hand on the back of my chair. President Lu, I have a proposal. Lu Tingchen looked up at him. For the Hu Group headquarters project, I will formally sign with Shen Qingwan Design Studio. Hu Tingxiao's voice was even. As for the non-competition dispute between Lu Group and Miss Shen, the Hu Group legal team will handle it entirely. President Hu. Lu Tingchen stood up. Are you going to go against me? Go against you. Hu Tingxiao smiled. President Lu, you overestimate yourself. He looked down at me. Miss Shen, dinner is ready. Shall we go in? I stood up, took the red rose on the table, and handed it to him. Sir Hu, the flowers are for you. Hu Tingxiao accepted the flowers, the corner of his mouth turning up. Thank you, I like them very much. We turned to walk toward the private room, and from behind came the sound of Lu Tingchen smashing a wine glass. Shen Qingwan, he roared, you will regret this. Do you think Hu Tingxiao really values you? You are just a tool he uses to disgust me. I did not look back. when you beg me, don't come back crying. Hu Tingxiao pushed open the door to the private room, stepping aside to let me go in first. Miss Shen. He lowered his voice. Those things he said, sir. I walked in, turning back to him. I never get angry at people who are not worth it. He looked at me, a certain light in his eyes. That's good. The door to the private room closed, cutting off all of Lu Tingchen's roars. The private room of the Hu family top-tier club was more private than I imagined. The entire space had only one round table, 2 chairs, and a chandelier. The floor-to-ceiling windows offered a view of the city at night. But the curtains were drawn halfway, and the light was just enough to clearly see the other person's expression. Hu Tingxiao sat opposite me, a thick document in front of him. Miss Shen. He pushed the document over. This is a prenuptial agreement. I opened the first page, and my pupils shrank suddenly. 10% of the Hu Group's shares. I looked up at him. Do you know how much that is? Approximately 300 billion. His tone was casual. If you help me win 3 core projects of the Lu Group, this figure will double. Why? I closed the document. You could take it by yourself. The Hu family's strength is enough to swallow the Lu Group. Hu Tingxiao picked up his wine glass and swirled it. Swallowing the Lu Group is easy. He took a sip. But what I want isn't to swallow, it's to crush. I stared at him. Lu Tingchen's father, Uncle Lu Heng, had a feud with the Hu family 20 years ago. His voice was calm. He used some unscrupulous means to seize the Hu family's southern district plot. That piece of land later became the foundation of Lu Group real estate. Are you seeking revenge? No. He set the wine glass down. I want Uncle Lu Heng to see with his own eyes how his son wasted everything. I was silent for a few seconds. So you need me? I need someone who hates Lu Tingchen enough. He looked at me. Someone capable, resourceful, and with a reason to personally destroy him. You found the right person. Hu Tingxiao smiled and pulled out 3 sheets from the document. These are Lu Group's 3 most important current projects. He pushed the papers over. Old City East Redevelopment, Riverside Complex. Financial City Landmark. These 3 projects account for 60% of Lu Group's cash flow. You want me to hijack them? Not hijack. He leaned back against the chair's backrest. I want you to, as the Hu family's young mistress, openly and boldly, use your design, your reputation, your connections, choose you. Not Lu Group. I stared at the 3 papers, my brain racing. Old City East Redevelopment. The client is Urban Investment Group, I said. Their person in charge, Mr. Wang, I collaborated with 3 years ago. He's been unhappy with Lu Tingchen's. I know. Hu Tingxiao nodded. Mr. Wang privately came to me and said if Hu Group bids, they can give us priority consideration. Riverside Complex. I turned to the second page. The client is Ocean Group. This project requires top-tier green building technology. And I have 3 related patents. Ocean Group's CEO is your college classmate. Hu Tingxiao added. I looked up at him. Did you check me? Before the arranged marriage, I had to do due diligence. His expression was justified. Miss Shen, your resume is 10 times stronger than the hype Lu Tingchen gave about you. I didn't respond, and turned to the 3rd page. Financial City Landmark. I'm too familiar with this project. A year ago, Lu Tingchen asked me to bid in Lu Group's name, and I spent 3 months preparing the full proposal. But the day before bidding, Lu Tingchen suddenly said, you don't need you anymore, I've found someone more professional. Later I learned he changed my plan's name and gave it to another designer, then publicly claimed Lu Group Original. That plan won the Design Gold Award that year. But the winner wasn't me. This project, I set the papers down, was originally mine. Hu Tingxiao looked at me, and some emotion flickered in his eyes. I know, he said, so I saved it for last. I took a deep breath. 3 projects. How long? 3 months. Hu Tingxiao held up 3 fingers. Within 3 months, hijack these 3 projects. Lu Group's cash flow will falter, shareholders will pressure, Lu Tingchen will kneel and beg you. What if he knelt? Then we'll see how you want to deal with him. Hoddingly, wait. It's Hu Tingxiao. I'll translate properly. Hu Tingxiao pulled out a blank check from the file and slid it over. You fill in the numbers. I looked at the check, unmoving. Mr. Ho. I lifted my head. I don't want money. He raised an eyebrow. I want Lu Tingshan to suffer a ruined reputation. My voice was soft, but every word rang with conviction. I want him to lose everything, the career, the fame, the status, the dignity. I want him to never be able to stand up again in this life. Hod, he looked at me for a long time, then he stood up, walked over to me, and extended a hand. Shen Qingwan. A pleasure to work with you. I held his hand. His hand was warm, with thin calluses on the palm, the grip just right, not flippant, not overbearing. A pleasure to work together. He released my hand, took a small box from inside his suit, and opened it. Inside was a ring, not a diamond ring, but a platinum ring with a minimalist design, the Hu family crest engraved on the face. Engagement ring, he said, at the family banquet at the Ho family old residence the day after tomorrow. I will formally announce the engagement, then this ring will be worn on your finger. I picked up the ring and held it to the light. Nice design, a design passed down through the Ho family. He paused. Of course, if you don't like it, you can change it. No need to change. I put the ring back in the box. I like it very much. He smiled, a smile more genuine than any before. Miss Shen. He stood up. See you the day after tomorrow. See you the day after tomorrow. When I left the private room, Su Yaro was waiting for me in the corridor. Director Shen, President Lu is downstairs waiting for you. Her expression was tense. He's in the car and wants to talk to you when you come out. Talk about what? I don't know, but his face doesn't look good. I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and looked down. A black Maybach was parked at the building entrance, its lights on, engine running. Let him wait. I turned and headed for the elevator. We'll use the side door. Before the elevator doors closed, I saw Ho Tingxiao standing at the far end of the corridor, head bowed to look at his phone. His profile under the light was handsome, the lines cold and hard but not overly sharp. The phone vibrated. A message from Ho Tingxiao, day after tomorrow's family banquet, where read, "My grandfather likes it." I replied with 2 words, "Noted." As I walked out of the building, the night wind came with a touch of early autumn coolness. Su Yaro drove over. I opened the passenger door and sat down. Director Shen, going home. To the office. I buckled up. Tonight I'll work late. Work late. The Eastern City Old Town redevelopment plan. I have to redo it. I watched the outside the window. This time, I'll make Lu Tingshan understand what it means to be crushed. When the car pulled out of the parking lot, Lu Tingshan's Maybach flashed in the rearview mirror. He saw our car. The window rolled down, exposing that pale face. He opened his mouth to say something, but our car had already turned onto the main road. Su Yaro glanced in the rearview mirror. He's chasing us. Lose him. Su Yaro pressed the accelerator. The car sped into the traffic. Lu Tingshan's car followed closely, weaving through lanes, nearly colliding with a truck. Director Shen, he's gone mad. He's always been mad. I leaned back in the seat. It's just that before, I thought it was love. As the car entered the creative park, Lu Tingshan's car was stopped by the gate. He stuck his head out the window, shouting at the security, "Do you know who I am? Let me in." The security guard remained expressionless. "Sorry, sir, this is a private park. No entry without an appointment." I got out, stood at the park gate, looking at Lu Tingshan. Shen Qingwan. He pounded the steering wheel. "Come here." I walked over and stood in front of his car window. "What do you want to say?" He stared at me, chest heaving violently. "Are you really going to marry Hu Tingxiao?" "Yes." "Do you know him? Do you know what kind of person he is?" His voice lowered. "In a top-tier noble family like the Hu clan, once you go in you'll be cannon fodder. His grandfather won't approve of you. You a designer with no background." Lu Tingshan. I interrupted him. 3 years ago you said the same thing. You said, "A designer with no background like you, you'll die without me." And now, I stepped back, looking into his eyes. "I have no background, but I have talent. I have no family legacy, but I have a brain. I have no backing, but I can become my own backing. And you, Lu Tingshan, besides that surname, what do you have?" His face reddened to a pigfruit color. "Your designs are plagiarized. Your projects are snatched. Your company is propped up by women." My voice wasn't loud, but every word was a knife. "Your greatest mistake isn't betraying me, but letting me see who you are." I turned and walked into the park. Shen Qingwan, he roared from behind. You'll regret this. You'll surely regret it. I did not look back. Pushing open the office door, the lights came on automatically. I walked to the desk, turned on the computer, and pulled up the design plan for the Urban East redevelopment. I had a saved version from 3 years ago. The plan then was already good, but not good enough. Now, I'll make a better one. So good that everyone will remember that this plan came from Shen Qingwan at 3 in the morning. I finished the first draft. My phone lit up. Hu Tingxiao's message. Still awake. I replied with 2 words. Busy. Urban East redevelopment. Yeah, President Wang will come to the Hu family banquet the day after tomorrow. I paused in my typing. At the banquet, you can talk to him. I stared at the screen, a smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. Mr. Hu, are you helping me cheat? No, he replied quickly. I'm helping you create an opportunity. Whether the plan can move him depends on you. I set the phone down and continued revising the plan. Outside the window, the sky was beginning to brighten. The annual real estate charity banquet is the most important social occasion in the circle, none other. Every year at this time, all the city's real estate moguls, financial tycoons, and political and business elites gather, officially charitable. In reality, it's about showing power, negotiating deals, and forming alliances. Last year at the banquet, I attended as Lu Tingshan's female companion. He held my hand on the red carpet and said to reporters, "This is my girlfriend, the designer." But once inside the venue, he left me in a corner and went to toast the bigwigs. I wore the dress he chose for me, a dated, old-fashioned piece whose color looked dreary and cut was ill fitting. He said, "This will do. Don't stand out too much." Later I learned he was afraid I'd look too pretty and steal someone's spotlight. This year is different. This year I attend as Hu Tingxiao's fiancé. The gown was sent by Hu Tingxiao, a pure red haute couture long dress, crafted by a famous French designer. There is only one in the world. The matching jewelry is the Hu family heirloom, a set of pigeon blood red ruby jewelry, said to be worth 200 million. The makeup artist, hairstylist, and stylist, 8 people in total, began preparing from 3 in the afternoon. Su Yarrow watched with wide eyes. Director Shen, what is this? Too grand, she whispered. Last year Mr. Lu didn't even prepare you a decent gown. Last year is last year. I adjusted my earrings in the mirror. This year is different. The doorbell rang. Su Yarrow went to answer, then froze. Hu Tingxiao stood at the door. He wore a black tuxedo, a perfectly tied bow tie, hair slicked back, revealing sharp, defined features. But what was most striking was the brooch on his chest, a Rubbermaid he family crest, a set with my earrings. Miss Shen, he stepped in, sizing me up from head to toe. Red suits you indeed. I stood up, the hem of my dress fanning out, like a blooming red rose. Mr. Ho, you look very handsome today as well. He smiled, extending his arm. Come on, tonight's play needs us to perform it together. When the car stopped at the entrance of the banquet hall, reporters were already crowding outside. Ho Tingxiao got out first, the flashes of light instantly illuminating the scene. He walked around to the other side, personally helping me out of the car. Extending his hand, I placed my hand in his palm and got out. Squeals, shutter sounds, the host's excited voice. General Ho, look over here. May I ask, this is my fiancé, Shen Qingwan. Hu Tingxiao wrapped an arm around my waist and smiled at the camera. Renowned architectural designer, Pritzker Prize nominee. The reporters went wild. General Ho, when did you get engaged? Miss Shen, how did you two meet? General Ho, does this mean the Ho family is entering the design field? Hu Tingxiao looked down at me, his gaze so gentle it didn't resemble acting. Qingwan, say a few words. I smiled at the camera. Today we won't discuss work, only charity. The words were flawless. The reporters wanted to press further, but Hu Tingxiao was already pulling me inside. The banquet hall was bustling with voices. As soon as we appeared, everyone's eyes turned toward us. Some people gasped, some whispered, some walked over with their wine glasses to greet us. General Ho, congratulations. Miss Shen, so good to finally meet you. General Ho, when will you be serving the wedding wine? Ho Tingxiao handled it deftly. But his hand never left my waist. That feeling was strange, being so openly protected by a man, not having to dodge, not needing to be discreet, not needing to act not too flashy. Then I saw Lu Tingchen. He stood at the far end of the banquet hall, with Su Yaro beside him. No, it's not Su Yaro. It was a woman I had never seen, young and pretty, wearing a revealing silver mini dress, almost clinging to him. Lu Tingchen saw me. His look changed from astonishment to anger, from anger to unwillingness, finally fixing into a twisted cold smile. He walked over with a wine glass, his steps broad, carrying a suppressed fury. General Ho. He stood in front of us, the corners of his mouth curved into a fake smile. Congratulations, you've won the beauty. Ho Tingxiao nodded. Thank you. Lu Tingchen turned to me, sizing me up from head to toe, his gaze lingering on my dress and jewelry for a long time. Shen Qingwan, you're dressed nicely. His voice lowered. Is this outfit rented or borrowed? I ignored him. Oh, I forgot. He leaned in a little closer. You've climbed onto the Ho family now. What can't you buy? Ho Tingxiao's hand tightened a little. Mr. Lu. His voice was calm. Mind your words. Mind your words. Lu Tingchen smiled. General Ho, I'm just trying to be helpful and remind you, this woman was once climbing onto me in the same way 3 years ago. Once she gets what she wants, she'll throw you away like garbage. The banquet hall quieted. People around stopped talking and looked over here. I looked up at Lu Tingchen and smiled. Lu Tingchen, are you done? He froze for a moment. If you're done, then. I pulled out my phone from my purse and opened a recording. Let everyone hear something. The recording played out the voice of Lu Tingchen, that Shen Qingwan woman. She'll use what she can and discard you once you're of no value. The banquet hall exploded. Lu Tingchen's face instantly turned deathly pale. You and this one. I switched to the next recording. Plishka's nomination. She's a woman. What's the use of winning that kind of prize? Might as well have me take on a few more projects. And this part, Su Yaro is much more sensible than she is. At least knows how to serve people. Shen Qingwan, just a tool, used and discarded, one segment after another. Each voice belonged to Lu Tingchen, each segment degrading me, using me, scheming against me. After the last segment finished, the banquet hall fell completely silent. Lu Tingchen's face had turned pale as death. All of these are fake, he tried to defend. They forged them. President Lu. Ho Tingxiao interrupted him. My legal team has already conducted Vorasprint analysis. These recordings are 100% real. Lu Tingchen stepped back, bumped into someone behind him. One more thing. Ho Tingxiao spoke softly, but every word was as clear as a knife. I've already signed the bid for the East City plot. Lu Tingchen raised his head suddenly. The client is the City Investment Group. Ho Tingxiao looked at me. The chief designer is Shen Qingwan. Lu Tingchen's fingers trembled. You snatched my project. Snatch. Ho Tingxiao smiled. President Lu, this project is an open bid. I looked at your plan. You copied MS Shen's design from 3 years ago, changed a few parameters, and submitted it for bid. Is that called snatching? Lu Tingchen's face turned from white to red, then purple. Ho Tingxiao. He took a deep breath, turned to me. Shen Qingwan, you think you've won just by clinging to him. Just wait. In less than 3 months, you'll be crying back to me. He turned to leave. President Lu, I called after him. He stopped. There is something I've always wanted to ask you. What? That email the prizes committee sent me 3 years ago. I stepped in front of him. You deleted it, didn't you? His gaze flickered. Did Su Yaro tell you that? You only need to answer yes or no. Silence. A long silence. Then he laughed. That smile twisted in a disgusting way. Yes. He looked at me. I deleted it. So what? You think you can win that prize? Shen Qingwan, you've overestimated yourself. Even if I hadn't deleted it, you wouldn't have won. I raised my hand and gave him a sharp slap on the left cheek. The crisp sound echoed through the banquet hall. Everyone froze. Lu Tingchen covered his left cheek, staring at me in disbelief. This slap, I said, is for me who gave up everything because of you. I gave him another slap on the right cheek. This slap is for all the works you ruined. I raised my hand to hit a third time. But Ho Tingxiao gently held my wrist. Enough. He bent his head to look at me. If you hit again, your hand will hurt. Lu Tingshan covered his face, stepping back several paces. His companion had already fled, and the two assistants were nowhere to be found. Shen Qingwan, you'll regret this, he shouted, but his voice lacked any backbone. Lu Tingshan, I withdrew my hand. My biggest regret is meeting you 3 years ago. Ho Tingxiao wrapped his arm around me and turned, striding toward the center of the ballroom. A sound of Lu Tingshan breaking a wine glass came from behind, followed by his roar, you'll regret this. I will make you regret it. The banquet continued, but everyone's gaze had changed. Some came to toast, some handed over business cards, some discussed cooperation. Mr. Wang from City Investment Group approached with a wine cup, smiling. Ms. Shin, that slap just now was well deserved. I smiled. Mr. Wang, you're flattering me. I've looked over the East City redevelopment plan. He lowered his voice. Very good. Contract signed next week. I looked at Ho Tingxiao. He was talking to someone else, but sensing my gaze, he turned his head slightly and gave me a small nod. At that moment, I suddenly felt that this marriage alliance might be more than a simple transaction. Lu Family Real Estate Boardroom. This is a large meeting room that can hold 30 people. The long table carved from a single block of walnut, leather chairs, and photos of Lu Boheng when he was young hanging on the walls. But right now, the atmosphere in this room was on the brink of collapse. Lu Tingshan sat at the head chair, the ashtray in front of him piled with cigarette butts. His tie was loosened, 2 buttons at the collar of his shirt were unfastened, and his eyes were bloodshot. In the past 72 hours, he had hardly closed his eyes. First, the Dongcheng redevelopment project was intercepted by the Hua family. Then the Party A of the Binjiang complex, the Yangtze Group, announced a retender. And finally the Financial City Landmark, the project he had thought was a done deal. The Party A suddenly said they would evaluate all bidding proposals. 3 projects, 3 Hua intervened projects, 3 projects, 3 design plans crafted by Shen Qingwan herself. President Lu, the CFO, pushed up his glasses, his voice quivering. If all 3 projects are lost, the company's cash flow this year will have a huge shortfall. The bank already called to ask, and if the situation keeps deteriorating, they'll reassess our credit lines. Shut up. Lu Tingshan stubbed out his cigarette. Reassess? Do they dare? President Lu, the CFO, mustered on. Not only the banks, a few major shareholders also called, saying they want to hold an emergency board meeting. I said shut up. The door to the meeting room was pushed open. Lu Bogan leaned on his crutch and walked in, followed by 2 lawyers. The 70-year-old man's hair was completely white, but his eyes were sharper than Lu Tingshan's. Dad, Lu Tingshan stood up. Sit down. Lu Bogan walked to the head of the table and slammed his crutch on the floor. Do you still have the face to sit there? Lu Tingshan's face twitched, but he sat down. Lu Bogan swept a glance over the executives in the room. Everyone out. The executives, as if granted amnesty, filed out one by one. The meeting room was left with only the Lu family father and son, and 2 lawyers. Lu Tingshan, Lu Bogan's voice was as cold as ice. Do you know what you've done? Dad, it's Shen Qingwan. That be, shut up. Lu Bogan slapped his palm on the table. How many times do I have to say it? Do not offend the Hua family. Do not offend Hua Tingxiao. Do you hear me? I didn't offend him. Didn't offend him. You used his fiancée as a slave for 3 years. Isn't that offending? Lu Bogan trembled with anger. Do you know that this morning Hua Tingxiao called me? Lu Tingshan's face changed. What did he say? He said. Lu Bogan took a deep breath. Hua Group has begun acquiring Lu's minority shares. They already hold 8.7%. Lu Tingshan stood up abruptly. What? Sit down. Lu Tingshan slowly sat back, his fingers gripping the table, knuckles turning white. 8.7%. Lu Bogan's voice was tired, plus the 5% originally held by the Hua family, a total of 13.7. If they can get 6.3 more, that would be 20%, making them the 2nd largest shareholder. Dad, we have to counter. Counter, Lu Bogan sneered. With what counter? What do you have in hand? Do you have a plan, any talent, any reputation? You have nothing. Lu Bogan pointed at his nose. In the past 3 years, You handed every project to Shen Qingwan to handle, and you just bragged at the celebration banquet. Now she's gone, and you don't even have a single presentable plan. Lu Tingshan's lips trembled. Dad, don't call me Dad. Lu Bogan closed his eyes. Lu's real estate is my lifelong effort. If it's destroyed by you, I won't spare you. The door to the meeting room was pushed open. The secretary walked in, pale-faced. President Lu, the Hua Group's people are here. What? They say, as shareholders, they have the right to attend today's board meeting. Lu Tingshan's face darkened completely. 5 minutes later, the door to the meeting room opened again. I was dressed in a black suit, with Su Yarrow and 2 lawyers, and I walked in. Behind us came Hua Tingshao's legal team, 5 elite lawyers in suits, each holding a thick briefcase. Shen Qingwan, Lu Tingshan stood up. What are you doing here? I sat opposite him and placed a set of documents on the desk. President Lu, Hua is currently holding 13.7% of Lu's real estate. According to the company charter, they have the right to attend the board meeting. You also. I pulled out another document from my bag. This is a joint statement from the Urban Investment Group, Ocean Group, and the Financial City Landmark Party A. They formally announce the termination of all cooperation intentions with Lu's. Lu Tingshan grabbed the document and flipped through it quickly, his expression turning white. Impossible. This is impossible. President Lu, my voice was calm. There's one more thing. I laid the copy of the betrothal agreement on the table. When you made me sign this agreement, you attached a fake financial report. I looked into his eyes. According to company law, this is fraud. It can be punished with up to 10 years in prison. Lu Tingshan's pupils shrank violently. My legal team has already organized all the evidence. I pushed the USB drive over, including the forged signatures, the altered financial statements, and your bribe transfer records to Party A. Shen Qingwan, you dare? Lu Tingshan stood up, the chair tipping to the floor. I dare. I stood up, meeting his gaze. Lu Tingshan, you think I only draw blueprints? I spent 3 months organizing all your criminal evidence. My voice was not loud, but every word hit like a hammer. Every document, every transfer, every lie. I checked everything clearly. Lu Tingshan's face turned from white to blue, then purple. What do you want to do? His voice trembled. Are you going to ruin me? No. I looked at him. I'm simply taking back what belongs to me. The door to the meeting room opened again. Hua Tingshao walked in, followed by 2 bodyguards. He wore a dark blue suit. His presence was so powerful the entire room quieted. President Lu, he stepped beside me, looking at Lu Tingshan. There's something I want to tell you too. Your face. Lu Tingshan stared at him intently. Hua is formally reporting Lu's real estate for financial fraud to the China Securities Regulatory Commission. Hua Tingshao's voice was even and unhurried. The investigation team will move in next week. Lu Tingshan's legs gave way. He steadied himself on the table to avoid collapsing. Also, Hua Tingshao pulled out his phone from his pocket and opened a message. Your mother just called me. Lu Tingshan froze. She said. Hua Tingshao looked at the screen. She's willing to come to court to testify, proving how your father Lu Bohong used illegal means to secure the South City site. Impossible. Lu Tingshan's voice was sharp as nails on glass. My mother wouldn't. Your mother will. Hua Tingshao tucked away his phone. Because she hates your father. She has hated him for 20 years. Lu Tingshan collapsed completely into the chair. I looked at him, not feeling pleasure, nor pity, only a calm settled like dust. President Lu. I tidied the documents on the desk. We'll meet again next week. I turned and walked out, and Hua Tingshao followed. In the corridor, sunlight spilled through the floor-to-ceiling windows, warm and comforting. Miss Shen. Hua Tingshao lowered his voice. Your performance just now, perfect score. I smiled. Mr. Hua. This is only the beginning. A roar came from behind me from Lu Tingshan, followed by a loud crash as a chair hit the floor. Then Lu Bokheng's voice. Ungrateful son, you've ruined this family. I didn't turn around. Some places aren't worth looking back. The reception room of the law firm was colder than I imagined. The air conditioner was set too low. The marble floor reflected the pale lights, and the air was thick with the smell of disinfectant and printed paper. I sat on one side of the long table, Facing Lu Tingshan's legal team, the 3 top criminal defense lawyers in the industry, each face saying, "This money isn't easy to earn," Lu Tingshan sat beside the lawyers, wearing a wrinkled shirt, stubbly beard, and sunken eye sockets. In just a week, he had lost at least 10 pounds. "Miss Shin," Lu Tingshan's lead attorney cleared his throat, "my client hopes to reach a settlement with you." I clasped my hands on the table and said, "State your terms." "Lu Corporation is willing to pay you 3 years design fees, totaling 80 million, the lawyer slid over a document. "In addition, the betrothal agreement will be voided, non-compete cancelled, and all copyrights to your works will belong to you personally." I didn't bother looking at the document. "Not enough." Lu Tingshan looked up sharply. "Shen Qingwan, don't push too far, 80 million has." "Mr. Lu," I interrupted, "how much have you earned from me in these 3 years? He fell silent. "The East City redevelopment, you earned 1.2 billion. The Riverside complex, you earned 1.8 billion. The financial city landmark, if you follow your plan, at least 3 billion more." I counted each figure aloud. "Total, 6 billion. You took 6 billion of my, and now you want to pay me 80 million to dismiss me." Lu Tingshan's lawyer's face changed. "Miss Shin, that number, my condition is." I stood up. "First, Lu Corporation publicly apologizes and acknowledges that all design credits belong to me. Second, Lu Tingshan personally compensates me 300 million. Third," I looked at Lu Tingshan, every word measured, "you must read a confession live on the entire internet." "Impossible." Lu Tingshan slammed his hand on the table. "Shen Qingwan, are you crazy? Live on the whole internet? What about my reputation?" "Your reputation?" I smiled. "Lu Tingshan, do you still have a reputation?" The door to the conference room was pushed open. Su Yarrow walked in, holding a file bag. "Director Shin." She placed the bag on the table. "The things you asked for." I opened the bag and pulled out what was inside, a stack of photos and a forensic report. The photos were Lu Tingshan in intimate moments with different women, spanning 3 years, some in hotel lobbies, some in cars, some in Lu Corporation's office. Each one had a timestamp, each one during the period I had been involved with Lu Tingshan. "What is this?" Lu Tingshan's voice changed tone. "Proof of your affair." I laid the photos out one by one on the table. 23 women in total. Time, place, and names, I have them all. Lu Tingshan's lawyers looked at each other, unsettled. "Mr. Lu," the lead attorney lowered his voice, "these are fakes. All of them are fake." Lu Tingshan roared. "Su Yarrow, you set me up." Su Yarrow stood behind me. "Calm, Mr. Lu, you forgot. You asked me to help you book hotels, buy plane tickets, handle those women's aftercare." She took a phone out of her bag. "I've saved every chat record." Lu Tingshan's face turned deathly white. "Shen Qingwan," his voice trembled. "What do you want?" "I want you to know." I looked at him. "The price of betrayal." I turned to his lawyers. "Tell your client that if he does not accept my terms, all these pieces of evidence will be handed over to the court. Added to the accusation of financial forgery, he will be sentenced to at least 10 years. Lu Tingshan's legs buckled and he collapsed into his chair. 10 years, he murmured to himself. 10 years. "And," I took out the last document, "your mother's testimony has been notarized." Lu Tingshan looked up sharply. "My mom, she agrees to testify." I pushed the document over. "To implicate your father for illegally acquiring the Southern City plot. In exchange, the family will give her enough money to live comfortably for the rest of her days." "Impossible. My mom would never." Lu Tingshan's voice grew softer. "She will," I said, looking at him, "because she told me something." "What?" "You are not the biological son of Lu Boheng." The meeting room fell into a deathly silence. Lu Tingshan's face turned from pale to blue, blue to purple, and finally to a grayish ruin I had never seen before. "You're lying, the identification report is here." I pushed the DNA test report over. "The DNA comparison between you and Lu Boheng, 99.9% exclusion of kinship." Lu Tingshan grabbed the report, his hand shaking so much he could barely hold it. "In other words," my voice was very calm, "you are not a child of the Lu family. No, impossible." He stared at the report, his eyes almost bulging out. "My mom said." "Your mom swapped the child back then," Su Yarrow added. The real Lu family heir is now in Canada. Lu Tingshan collapsed into the chair. The whole person seemed to lose all strength, so, I stood up. You have nothing now, career, reputation, family all gone. Shen Qingwan, he raised his head, eyes full of bloodshot. You ruined me. I didn't ruin you. I picked up my bag. You did it yourself. I turned to leave. Wait, Lu Tingshan's voice came from behind. Tiri, Qingwan, please, give me a chance. I know I was wrong. I stopped, not turning back. I'll kneel and beg you. You can make me do anything. The chair toppled. The sound of knees hitting the floor. I'll kowtow to you. Please spare me. I turned around, looking at Lu Tingshan kneeling on the ground. This man had been kneeling 3 months ago to the secretary, condescendingly telling me, if you leave me, you are nothing. Now he kneels before me, snot and tears all over his face. Like a stray dog, Lu Tingshan. I looked at him. Are you asking me to spare you? He nodded vigorously. Then have you ever considered, my voice was light, in these 3 years, have you spared me at all for what you did to me? He was stunned. You ruined my career, my dreams, my dignity. I crouched down. I level with him. You made me think I wasn't good enough. Made me think I couldn't live without leaving you. Made me think all my achievements depended on your charity. But now I know. I stood up, looking down at him. I am stronger than you, 100 times stronger. I turned and walked out of the conference room. In the corridor, Ho Tingxiao leaned against the wall waiting for me. He held a cup of coffee, and when he saw me come out, he handed it to me. It's over, it's over. I took the coffee and took a sip, hot, sweet, at the perfect temperature I liked. How did you know I like sugar? I checked. His tone was matter-of-fact. Before the engagement, I did my due diligence. I couldn't help but laugh. He laughed too, and helped me open the door. Come on. The old residence of the Ho family is pressing us. The old man wants to see you. Now, yes. He helped me press the elevator button. He said he wants to see a woman who can slap Lu Tingshan speechless. I stepped into the elevator, and he looked into my eyes. Shen Qingwan, when the elevator doors closed, he said, you looked very handsome just now, thank you. But I am more handsome than you. I rolled my eyes at him. He burst out laughing. The elevator descended, sunlight streaming in through the glass curtain wall and falling on his shoulder. I suddenly felt that this arranged marriage wasn't so bad after all. The old Hua family mansion sits on the northern hillside, covering 30,000 square meters. It takes 10 minutes to walk from the gate to the main building. A car glides along a tree-lined path. On both sides are neatly pruned French parasol trees. Their age is at least 50 years. At the end of the road stands a 3-story fusion of east and west, blue bricks and grey tiles, but the windows are floor-to-ceiling glass, through which one can vaguely see crystal chandeliers and rosewood furniture inside. Are you nervous? Hu Tingxiao parked the car and looked at me from the side. No, not nervous. I unfastened my seatbelt. Grandpa won't eat people. He's scarier than eating people. Hu Tingxiao got out of the car, came around to open my door. He will ask you 10 questions. Each one will make you want to bang your head against a wall. I smiled. Then have I brought the wall with me? He paused for a moment. Then also laughed. Yes, I'll shield you from it. We walked up the steps side by side. The big door opened from the inside. An elder in a Zhongshan suit stood at the door, hair grey, back straight, eyes sharp like an eagle. Tingxiao, is this Miss Shen? Grandpa, this is Shen Qingwan. Hu Tingxiao turned to me, guiding me forward. Qingwan, this is my grandfather, Old Master Hua. Good afternoon, Grandpa Hua. I bowed slightly. Old Master Hua sized me up from head to toe, his gaze lingering on my face for a long time. Come in. The living room was larger than I imagined, with rosewood furniture, paintings on the walls, and a tea set on the coffee table. The old man sat at the head of the table and signaled me to sit opposite him. Hu Tingxiao wanted to sit next to me but was stopped by a glance from the old man. Tingxiao, go to the kitchen and see if dinner is ready. Hu Tingxiao looked at me, and I nodded faintly. He turned and left, leaving me and the old man alone in the living room. The old man began to brew tea, his movements smooth and fluid, obviously decades of practice. Miss Shen, he pushed the teacup toward me. I heard you slapped a Lu family boy twice, 3 times. I picked up the teacup. The 3rd time didn't land. Tingxiao blocked it. Old Master Hua raised an eyebrow. Why did he block it? He said his hand would hurt. The old man froze for a second, then smiled. That smile was brief, but the sharp edge in his eyes dimmed a little. Miss Shen, I'll ask you a few questions. Please ask. First question, he looked at me. You married Tingxiao because you hate Lu Ting deeply, or because you love Hua Tingxiao? I set the teacup down. Grandpa Hua, I won't lie. At first, it was because of hate. The old man's gaze did not change, but now, I looked into his eyes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is still a transaction. My voice was calm. Hua Tingxiao treats me very well, so well that it doesn't feel like a performance. I don't know whether his feelings are real, or if his acting is too good. The old man was silent for a few seconds. Second question, he leaned back in his chair. If one day Tingxiao's company encounters trouble and you need to give up your career to help him, would you be willing? Not willing. The old man's eyes suddenly sharpened. I can help him, but I won't give up my career. I met his gaze. My value isn't bought by sacrifice. If I give up my career to help him, our relationship becomes dependent. A dependent relationship won't go far. The old man stared at me for a long time. Third question, his voice lowered. Are you afraid of me? No. Why? Because you are Tingxiao's grandfather. I paused. Someone who can raise someone like Tingxiao can't be unreasonable. The living room fell silent. The old man picked up the teacup, took a sip, then set it down. The fourth question, Grandpa, how Tingxiao walked out of the kitchen. Dinner is ready. The old man glanced at him, then at me, and stood up. Eat first. In the dining room, 12 dishes were arranged on the long table, all home-style dishes, yet each one refined like a work of art. How Tingxiao's mother sat at the far end of the table, a well-preserved middle-aged woman in a simple qipao, with a courteous but aloof smile on her face. Miss Shen, sit. Her voice was soft, but her eyes were cold. I sat down. How Tingxiao next to me. Mom, Qingwan doesn't eat spicy foods. Move that dish of boiled fish to another place. Mrs. How gave him a look and signaled the maid to swap the dishes. Tingxiao, you're so thoughtful toward Miss Shen. Of course. During the meal, no one spoke. The clatter of chopsticks against bowls and dishes was amplified as if it were being magnified. Miss Shen, Mrs. How suddenly spoke. I heard your design firm is in the creative park. Yes, Auntie. What's your annual revenue? Last year, 80 million. Mrs. How raised an eyebrow. 80 million. Not bad. This year we're expected to reach 200 million. I picked up a piece of fish. Contract for the HQ project of the How Corporation has already been signed. That project alone is 80 million. Mrs. How's expression changed a little. Miss Shen, she put down her chopsticks. I'll ask you a direct question. Please go ahead. When you married Tingxiao, were you hoping to leverage the How family's power, or did you truly like him? The atmosphere at the dining table suddenly became tense. How Tingxiao wanted to speak but was restrained by a look from the old man. I looked at Mrs. How and set down my chopsticks. Auntie, I understand your concerns. My voice was very calm. A woman with no background suddenly wanting to marry into the How family. If it were me, I'd doubt it too. But let me tell you 3 things. First, my design firm's annual revenue is 200 million. I can live very well without the How family. Second, when I gave up my Pritzker Prize nomination, I didn't know how Tingxiao. Third, I met her eyes. The man pursuing me isn't the one I'm chasing. Mrs. How stared in shock. The old man suddenly laughed, and it was a loud laugh. Well said, well said. He stood up, looked at me, and his eyes were filled with admiration. Miss Shen, I'm satisfied with your answer. Grandpa. How Tingxiao stood up as well. Fourth question, you don't need to answer. The old man patted my shoulder. I agree to this marriage. Mrs. How's face changed. Dad, quiet. The old man, the 3 questions you just asked. Miss Shen answered them 10 times better than you did back then. Mrs. How's face flushed, but she dared not say anything else. Miss Shen. The old man sat back in his chair. I have a condition. What is it? The How family has a rule: an incoming daughter-in-law must pass a test. What test? The old man reached into his coat and pulled out a key, placing it on the table. There is a plot of land in the southern part of the city. abandoned for 10 years. No one can develop it. Ting Xiao's father tried it back then and lost 200 million. Ting Xiao tried it last year as well and failed again. If you can come up with a development plan that can pass the board within 3 months. The old man looked at me. You will be the Hao family's real young mistress. I looked at the key, not moving. What if you fail? Failure is fine, the old man said lightly. But that board of old folks will look down on you. The Hao family's young mistress cannot be looked down upon. I picked up the key and held it in my hand. 3 months. 3 months. Not 3 months. I stood up. Give me 1 month. The old man was stunned. 1 month. He looked at me. Miss Shen, do you know what's wrong with that land? No idea. Then how? But I have a team. I have brains. I have experience. I put the key into my bag. Grandpa Hua, you give me a month. I'll give you a plan. If it doesn't work, I'll walk out myself. The restaurant was quiet enough to hear breathing. Hu Tingxiao looked at me, something flashing in his eyes. The old man looked at me, silent for a long time, then smiled. Tingxiao, he said, the woman you found is stronger than you. Hu Tingxiao stood up, walked to my side, and held my hand. Grandfather, I know. His hand was warm, the palm slightly calloused, the grip just right. The old man watched our hands clasped together, and nodded. Okay, let's eat. The dishes have gone cold. I sat back down and continued eating. Mrs. Hu didn't speak again, but the look she gave me had changed, from cold to scrutinizing, from scrutiny to something I couldn't understand. After dinner, Hu Tingxiao walked me to the door. The night was thick, the mountain wind carrying the scent of grass and trees. 1 month. He stood by the car. Are you really confident? No, he frowned. Then but I have 3 months' worth of tireless experience. I looked at him. People like Lu Tingshan, I can endure for 3 years, a single plot of land. What's that? He looked at me and suddenly laughed. Shen Qingwan, do you know why I chose you? Why? Because you never admit defeat. The mountain wind blew, lifting my hair. He reached out to tuck it behind my ear, his fingertips brushing my ear. A little cold. Let's go. He withdrew his hand. I'll take you home. No need, I drove myself. Then I'll see you to your car. We walked side by side down the tree-lined path, the street lamps stretching our shadows long. Hu Tingxiao, I stopped. Can you give me the data on that plot by tomorrow? I can have it tonight. He pulled out his phone and sent a message. I'll have it organized and delivered to your office. Thank you. You're welcome. He looked at me. This is your test, and mine. What do you mean? If you don't pass, the board will say my judgment is flawed. He laughed. I, Hu Tingxiao, cannot be told my judgment is flawed. I rolled my eyes at him. He laughed out loud. Just before getting in the car, he called out to me, Shen Qingwan. I looked back. 1 month from now, he stood under the streetlight, hands in his pockets. If you succeed, I'll tell you a secret. What secret? We'll talk about it if you succeed. I drove down the mountain, and in the rearview mirror, he stood there until I turned a corner and could no longer see him. My phone vibrated. Hu Tingxiao's message. The South City plot data has been sent to your email. Also, Lu Tingshan was kicked out by the Lu family tonight. I slammed on the brakes. He's living in a cheap hotel now, using a false ID. I stared at the screen, fingers tapping the steering wheel. Has he come looking for you? Not yet, but soon. I placed the phone on the front passenger seat and continued driving. Outside, the city's lights stretched into a ribbon, like a Milky Way falling from the sky. Lu Tingshan, you've finally tasted what it's like to lose everything. But this is only the beginning. The land auction site was bustling with people. This year's largest land auction, with 12 plots up for grabs, the most watched was a large commercial residential plot in the city's eastern core area. Big area, good location, lacks planning conditions, known in the industry as the King of Kingsland. The Lu family's real estate had had their eyes on this plot for 6 months. The Hua family had had their eyes on it for 6 months as well. The auction hall was packed with people, the investment chiefs, project heads, and even the bosses of the major developers were all present. The air was thick with a tense, sword-drawn atmosphere. I sat in the second row, next to Hu Tingxiao. He wore a light grey suit today, no tie, looking younger than usual by several years. But his eyes were not young at all, sharp, calm, with the hunter's particular focus. Nervous? He asked, tilting his head toward me. Not nervous. I opened the auction catalogue in my hand. It's not the first time I've raised my paddle. Have you raised it before? Lou's project, I've raised it for all of them. I looked at him, just signing his name. Ho Tingxiao's expression didn't change, but his hand clenched my fingers beneath the table. Today, you sign your own name. The auctioneer stepped onto the stage, and the room fell quiet. The first lot. Plot A in the East City Core District, starting bid of 3.2 billion, with increments not less than 50 million. As soon as the words were spoken, someone raised a paddle. 3.25 billion, 3.3 billion, 3.4 billion. The price kept rising, quickly surpassing 4 billion. Lu Tingxian sat in the third row, beside him an entire sum of investments and a middle-aged woman I'd never seen before. His face looked terrible, dark circles under his eyes like he'd been punched twice. The suit crumpled. Utterly unlike the previous new real estate tycoon who even chose a tie clip. For 5 billion, someone cried out. The room fell silent for a second. Lu Tingxian raised his hand. For 6 billion, I turned my head to glance at him. He stared at the auction stand, not noticing me. For 7 billion, another developer raised a paddle. For 8 billion, Lu Tingxian gritted his teeth. 5 billion. A voice came from the corner. The room gasped. Lu Tingxian's face twitched. He raised his hand. 5.1 billion. The auctioneer. 5.1 billion. Any more? I glanced at Ho Tingxiao. He nodded slightly. I raised the paddle. 6.0 billion. The room exploded. 6 billion. Who is that? Ho family. It's the Ho family. Are you kidding? A double premium. Lu Tingxian turned his head sharply. The moment he saw me, his expression twisted horribly. Shen Qingwan, he gritted out, teeth clenched. You 6.1 billion. His investment manager hurriedly raised his paddle. I laughed. 7.0 billion. The auctioneer's hands trembled. 70 billion. Ho family bid 70 billion. Any more bids? Lu Tingxian's face turned pale, then purple, then black. His investment manager pulled at his sleeve, shaking his head violently. General Lu, we only have 50 billion cash in the account. Shut up. Lu Tingxian shook off his hand, glaring at me. 100 billion. First call, the auctioneer announced. Lu Tingxian's hands trembled. 100 billion. Second call. His lips trembled, wanting to raise his hand. But his hand seemed nailed to the chair. 100 billion. Third call. The hammer fell, the sound as crisp as a bone breaking. Sold. Plot A in East City Core District to Ho Family Group for 100 billion. The entire hall rose to their feet. Thunderous applause. I turned around, to Lu Tingxian, offering him a slight smile. General Lu, thank you for your cooperation. His face twitched, then he stood up abruptly. The chair toppled to the ground with a loud crash. Shen Qingwan, are you crazy? 100 billion to buy that piece of land. Do you know its market value is only 50 billion? I know. I looked at him. But so what? He couldn't finish the sentence in his anger. Mr. Lu, I stepped in front of him. For this piece of land, I plan to build a parking lot. The entire hall exploded again. A parking lot? 100 billion parking lot? Is she crazy? Isn't this burning money? Lu Tingxian's face twisted completely. Shen Qingwan, you're deliberately going against me. Yes. I nodded. I am deliberately doing so. You, Mr. Lu. Ho Tingxiao stood up and came to my side. One thing I forgot to tell you. Lu Tingxian fixed his gaze on him. Plot A in the Eastern City, next to Plot B. Ho Tingxiao spoke calmly. Hoy's has already taken it last week. Lu Tingxian's pupils abruptly contracted. 2 plots connected. Ho Tingxiao wrapped his arm around my waist. Total area 40,000 square meters. We plan to build a complex, integrated space of commerce, housing, and office buildings. And your Lu family real estate, he looked at Lu Tingxian, will be sandwiched in the middle, all around, in front, behind, and sides are Ho family land. Lu Tingxian's legs trembled. He steadied himself on the back of a chair to avoid collapsing. You've Mr. Lu. I took out a document from my bag. This is the planning permit for Plot B. Guess. Do you think your project can still get approved? Lu Tingxian snatched the document, skimmed it quickly, his face turning whiter by the second. Impossible. This is impossible, Mr. Lu. My voice was very calm. In the last 3 months, everything I did was not spontaneous. Eastern City Plot A, Plot B, Riverside Complex, Financial City Landmark. Each project, I started laying out half a year in advance. He raised his head, eyes full of bloodshot lines. When did you start planning? From the day you knelt to wipe medicine for Su Yao. The hall fell silent. I looked at Lu Tingshan, every word precise. That day, I stood at the door of your office, watching you kneel on the ground, serving another woman like a slave. I was thinking, this man, is he worth wasting 3 years for? The answer is no, so I turned to leave. From that day, I decided I'll make you lose everything. Shen Qingwan, Lu Tingshan roared. Stop. I didn't stop. He chased after me, trying to grab my arm, but was blocked by Ho Tingxiao's bodyguards. Shen Qingwan, I beg you. His voice changed. With a sob, you give the land to me. The terms you set. I stopped, turned to look at him. Lu Tingshan, you beg me. He nodded as hard as he could, tears nearly spilling. I beg you, I'll agree to anything. Then kneel. The hall gasped. Lu Tingshan's face stiffened. Aren't you the type who likes kneeling? My voice was soft. Kneel to wipe medicine for a secretary. Kneel to beg the client to approve the project. Kneel to beg the bank for a loan. Now, kneel down and beg me. He stood there, his expression from plead to humiliation. From humiliation to hatred. Shen Qingwan, if you won't kneel, then forget it. I turned and walked away. A sound of knees striking the floor came from behind. I knelt. Lu Tingshan's voice came from behind. Sobbing, I knelt. Are you satisfied now? I turned around, watching him kneel on the ground, his nose and eyes full of mucus and tears. Hundreds of people in the hall looked on at this scene. Lu Tingshan, I crouched down, looking straight into his eyes. Do you know what you look like now? He shook his head, like a dog. I stood up. A filthy cur. I turned and walked out of the auction hall. Behind me, Lu Tingshan's sobs echoed through the corridor. Ho Tingxiao caught up with me and stopped me at the elevator. Shen Qingwan, he looked at me. You just, over the line. I looked up at him. No, he shook his head. You just now, so handsome it hurts. I froze for a moment, then laughed. He laughed too, reaching out to press the elevator button. Let's go, the board is waiting to hear good news. Hu Tingxiao, I stepped into the elevator. That land, are you really going to build a parking lot? You really believed it? He raised an eyebrow. Of course it's going to be a complex. You designed the plan. I looked at him. Did you plan from the very beginning? From the day you agreed to the marriage? He looked into my eyes. I knew, this land would surely be yours. The elevator doors closed. The mirror reflected the shadow of us standing side by side. Suddenly I felt this man is more dangerous than I imagined because he is not only smart but patient. Patient enough to wait half a year just for today's crushing blow. Hu Tingxiao, I turned to him. What is the secret you mentioned? He smiled. I'll tell you in a month, another month. Things worth doing take time. The elevator reached the first floor. The doors opened. He stepped aside to let me go first, his hand lightly protecting the small of my back, not touching. But the warmth came through. Let's go, designer Shen. His voice carried a smile. Your era has begun. At 2 a.m., I was woken by Su Yao's call. Director Shen, look at the hot searches now. I opened my phone. The top of Weibo hot searches shows #Lu family real estate financial fraud #. Click in, and there's a long article listing all the evidence of Lu family real estate's financial fraud over the past 5 years. Fake contracts, forged signatures, altered reports, bribery of officials. Every point has proofs, transfer records, chat screenshots, meeting recordings, all present. The poster's ID is Hammer of Justice, registered just now, but I know who it is. Hu Tingxiao, Su Yao. What's the situation now? It's exploded. Readership 300 million, 80,000 comments. Lu family's stock price pre-market has already fallen by 30%. I rolled off the bed, opened the computer. The market hadn't opened, but pre-market trading had crashed. Lu family real estate stock price dropped from 18 to 12. A market value evaporated by 60 billion. My phone rang. Lu Tingshan, I answered. Shen Qingwan, did you do this? His voice was hoarse as sandpaper. Not me. Bullshit. Besides you, who else could it be? Lu Tingshan, you've offended too many people, who would know which one? Yuki took a deep breath. Shen Qingwan, I beg you, pull that stuff down, whatever you want, I'll give. President Lu, I interrupted, hot search cannot be pulled down, even if you pull it, the screenshots are already spread. Then what do you want? Should I die or not? That's up to you. I hung up, just hung up. Another call came in, an unknown number. Miss Shen, I'm a reporter for Finance Weekly. What is your view on Lu family's financial fraud news? I have no comment. I hung up. Another call. Miss Shen, I'm from Southern Metropolis Daily. No comment. I turned off my phone, but the public opinion would not shut down. At 7 in the morning, the situation escalated. A video went viral online. Lu Tingshan in a KTV private room, embracing two women, looking into the camera and saying, Shen Qingwan is a fool, I've played around, and she thinks I truly love her. In the video, his voice was muffled, obviously drunk, but every word was as clear as a knife. View count surpassed 100 million in an hour. The comments exploded. Trash man. Trash as always. Designer Shen is too pitiful. Wasted 3 years on this trash. Support designer Shen. Crush the trash man. Lu family stock price is going to drop again. Right. I sit in front of the computer, watching the video, my fingers tapping on the desk. This video wasn't the one I posted. Suyao, I pick up my phone. Who posted the video? Unknown. We can't trace the source. Can't trace it. The other party used 3 layers of proxies. The IP address is overseas. Technically, at least a professional hacker. I put the phone down and look out the window. Hodin Xiao, it must be him. At 8 o'clock in the morning. The third wave comes. A secretly filmed video of Suyao during her time at Lu Tingshan in the office throwing things, berating employees, threatening the principal, even striking a project manager. Do you know who my father is? My father is Lu Bohan. Do you believe I'll make you fail in this industry? If this project doesn't go well, you all get out, not a single one stays. Shen Qingwan, she's just a tool, used up and thrown away. What's there to be sorry about? Each video is like a bomb, shattering Lu Tingshan's public image. Lu's real estate PR team issued a statement saying the video was a malicious edit and the company would pursue legal responsibility, but no one believed it, because the videos were too real, each one seamless and complete, with no signs of editing. At 9 o'clock in the morning, the stock market opened. Lu's real estate directly hit the limit down. Market value evaporates by another 4 billion. Lu Bohan issued a statement, announcing his resignation as chairman of Lu's real estate's board, with the vice president to serve temporarily. The statement contained a sentence, I am deeply pained by Lu Tingshan's actions and I apologize to the public. Translation, I pushed my son out to take the blame, but Lu Tingshan is no longer something a shield can fix, because at 10 o'clock in the morning, the fourth wave arrives. Suyao starts a live broadcast. The live stream has 30 million online viewers. She sits in front of the camera, barefaced, wearing a white shirt, expression calm. Hello everyone, I am Suyao, Lu Tingshan's former secretary. Today, I'm filing a real name report against Lu Tingshan for the following crimes. She takes out a sheet of paper and reads each item aloud. First, financial fraud, involving more than 5 billion. Second, commercial bribery. Bribery targets include government officials, bank executives, and party responsible persons. Third, tax evasion, amounting to more than 1 billion. Fourth, forging documents, including contracts, invoices, official seals. Fifth, personal harm, including beating employees, threatening intimidation. Each time she reads a line, the barrage explodes. After finishing the fifth item, she takes a stack of documents from her bag. These are the originals of all the evidence. I have already submitted them to the Procuratorate, the Tax Bureau, and the Securities Regulatory Commission. The live stream room quiets for a second, then the barrage goes wild. Awesome. Is Suyao trying to bring Lu Tingshan down with her? No, this is justice. Where is Shen Qingwan? We want to see Shen Qingwan. Suyao looks at the camera and smiles. Director Shen doesn't know about this. She pauses. This is my own decision. I worked at Lu's for 2 years and saw with my own eyes how much misdeeds Lu Tingxian committed. I chose to be silent because I was afraid of losing my job, afraid of being retaliated against, afraid I'd be unable to survive in this industry. But today, I'm not afraid anymore, because if I stay silent any longer, what difference would there be between me and Lu Tingxian? The barrage floods. Su Yao, you're great. Support Su Yao, conscience. Awakened, Su Yao takes a deep breath, looks at the camera. Finally, I'd like to say one more thing to Shen Qingwan. I'm sorry. Her tears fall. Director Shen, I'm sorry. For these 3 years, I helped you do many bad things. I helped you cover up Lu Tingxian's affairs. I helped you speak ill of you in front of him. I helped you. She chokes up, unable to continue. In the live stream, 30 million people watch her cry. But now I know. She wipes away her tears. You're the only person who's ever been kind to me. You helped me pay off the family debt. You helped me get a new job. You even helped my mom find a doctor. And yet I betrayed you. She stood up and bowed deeply to the camera. I'm sorry. The live stream ended. My phone rang. Su Yao's WeChat message. Director Shen, I'm sorry. I know saying sorry is useless, but I still have to say it. I stared at the screen, typed a few characters, then deleted them. Finally, I sent 2 words. Thank you. She replied instantly. Do you hate me? I did. I typed. But hating someone is exhausting. I don't want to hate anyone anymore. She sent a string of crying emojis. I set the phone down and leaned back in the chair. Outside the window, the sunlight was just right. Ho Tingxiao's call came in. Did you watch the live stream? Yes. Did you arrange it? No. I paused. Was it you? Not really. His voice carried a smile. Looks like you're more charming than I thought. Even your enemies are moved by you. Ho Tingxiao, stop flattering yourself. Okay, to business. His voice turned serious. The Securities Regulatory Commission has already started an investigation. Lu Tingxian will be summoned for questioning this afternoon. That fast? The evidence is too solid. They can't delay. I was silent for a few seconds. Ho Tingxiao, I said. Thank you. Thank me for what? For helping me do all this. There was a moment of quiet on the other end. Shen Qingwan, his voice lowered. What I'm doing isn't to help you. Then what is it? To help you seek justice. He paused. 3 years ago, if someone had helped you, it would have been better. I was stunned. 3 years ago, when you were deceived by Lu Tingxian, if someone had warned you just once, if someone had given you a shove in the right direction, you wouldn't have wasted those 3 years. His voice was soft, but every word hit my heart. Shen Qingwan, I knew you too late, but since I know you now, I won't let anyone bully you again. I held the phone, unable to speak. Enough. His voice returned to normal. I'll pick you up this afternoon and take you to see some things. What things? Secret. Another secret. Yes, another secret. He hung up. I set the phone down and looked at the ceiling. Outside, there were birds' calls, car noises, and all the sounds that keep this city moving. But in my ears, there was only the sentence he just spoke. I knew you too late. But since I know you now, I won't let anyone bully you again. Is this man real, or just acting? I can't tell. But one thing I know clearly, I want to find out. The private room at the Ho Family Club was more private than I imagined. The entire space had only one round table, 2 chairs, and a hanging lamp. The curtains were drawn tightly, no light could seep through. Lu Tingxian sat opposite me, a glass of water untouched in front of him. He looked almost unrecognizable. His hair was a mess. His beard hadn't been shaved for days. His eyes sunken, cheekbones pronounced. His suit was the same crumpled dark blue, the collar of his shirt yellowing, one button missing from the cuffs. He looked a whole decade older. Shen Qingwan, his voice hoarse as sandpaper. You finally agreed to see me. You asked me 17 times. I leaned back. If I hadn't seen you, that would have looked too unfriendly. His lips twitched. Speak. What condition do you want? I pulled out my phone and opened the first. Answer me one question. What is it? 3 years ago, when you deleted the emails from the Pre-Ice Christ Committee, did you hesitate at all? He froze. Even for a second, I looked into his eyes. Did you think, this is Shen Qingwan's dream, I can't ruin it? Silence, a long silence. Then he laughed, a smile as bitter as gentian. No, he said, Not a single second. My fingers tightened. What I was thinking then was if she won that prize, she would no longer be someone I could control. He looked at me. Shen Qingwan, I admit, I am just a bastard, but you already know. I put down the phone. Lu Tingshen, have you finished your confession? He fished out a piece of paper from his pocket, opened it, and placed it on the table. Dense characters filled 2 full pages. Do you want me to read it? His voice trembled. Yes. Read it. I propped up the phone, started a live stream, all-net reading. As soon as the live broadcast started, the number of online viewers exploded to over 1 million. The comment section flashed. Here it is. Shen Qingwan is awesome. The scumbag is going to read his confession. Lu Tingshen looked at the camera, his lips quivering. My name is Lu Tingshen. His voice shook. I am the former CEO of Lu Group Real Estate. I admit that in the past 5 years, I committed the following illegal and immoral acts. He began to read. First, financial fraud. Second, commercial bribery. Third, tax evasion. Fourth, forgery. Fifth, personal injury. Sixth, infringement of intellectual property. Seventh, marital deception. Eighth, when he reached the eighth, his voice choked. Eighth, I admit that I subjected Ms. Shen Qingwan to 3 years of spiritual control and emotional abuse. The comments exploded. Scumbag, die. Shen Qingwan is too miserable. People like this should go to jail. He continued reading, his voice trembling more. By the time he reached the 12th item, he stopped. 12th, I admit that I used Ms. Shen Qingwan's design talents to steal 12 of her works and signed them with my own name. He looked at the camera, tears falling. Shen Qingwan, I'm sorry. Continue reading. My voice was ice cold. He took a deep breath and continued. After finishing the last item, he put the paper down and looked at me. Finished. There's one more. I stood up, walked in front of him. You forgot. What? That day at the auction. When you kneeled and begged me, you said one sentence. Do you remember? His face paled. You said, I will agree to anything you want. Now, I looked down at him. I want you to do one last thing. What is it? Withdraw from the real estate industry. Never come back. His pupils contracted sharply. Shen Qingwan, this is my condition. My voice was very calm. Withdraw from the real estate industry. Sell all your shares. Leave this city. Never appear again. Then what can I do? His voice was as sharp as nails on glass. That's your business. I turned and walked back to my seat. Lu Tingshen, you have done so many bad things and yet you can walk away alive. That is already the greatest mercy. He slumped in his chair, anger turning to despair on his face. Shen Qingwan, you ruined me. No, I didn't ruin you. I looked at him. You ruined yourself. I took a document from my bag and placed it on the table. This is an equity transfer agreement. After you sign, all of Lu's shares will be transferred to Hua. The price is based on today's closing price. Today's closing price. His voice trembled. Lu Group stock has already fallen 70%, so I'd only get 100 million. I invested 500 million. Lu Tingshen. I interrupted him. Do you still have the right to negotiate? He fell silent. Sign. Take the money. Leave. I placed the pen on the table. No signature. The arrest warrant from the prosecutor's office will arrive this afternoon. His hand was shaking. He picked up the pen, then set it down again. Shen Qingwan, I sign. He took a deep breath and signed on every page. After signing the last page, the pen slipped from his hand and fell to the floor. Signed. His voice was hollow, like a robot. I checked once more, confirmed it was correct, and packed the documents away. Lu Tingshen, you have 24 hours. Leave this city. Where to? Anywhere. But don't let me see you again. He stood up. His legs gave way, nearly collapsing. He held onto the table, looked at me. His lips moved. Shen Qingwan. His voice was soft. Do you hate me? No. He froze, hating. Someone is exhausting. I looked at him. To me, you no longer matter. Tears slid down his face. Let's go. I turned around. Don't look back. He staggered out of the private room, every step like stepping on cotton. The moment the door closed, I heard his restrained crying in the corridor. I sat in the chair, looking at the empty private room. My phone lit up. Ho Tingxiao's message. Finished. Finished. I'm downstairs. I stood up, walked to the window, drew back the curtain. Below, a black car parked at the roadside, its headlights on. Ho Tingxiao leaned against the car door, looked up toward me. He raised his phone, sent a message. Shen Qingwan, come down, I'll take you somewhere. Where to? To see your design. I went downstairs, left the building. The night breeze came, carrying early autumn coolness. Ho Tingxiao opened the front passenger door, gesturing for me to get in. Where to? South of the city, South District, He started the car. Your design plan. The construction team has already started on site. What? I turned to him. I haven't finished drawing the construction drawings. Those you drew last month are enough. He shifted the turn signal. I had the team fast-tracked for development. Ho Tingxiao, are you crazy? Those are only sketches. Sketched are enough. He gave me a look. Because you are Shen Qingwan. When the car drove into the South District site, I saw the lights. On a huge construction site, pile drivers were operating. The tower cranes lit up half the night sky. On the site hung a huge rendering, my design. This I got out of the car, looked at the rendering, unable to speak. Shen Qingwan, Ho Tingxiao walked up to me. Your design doesn't need to wait for a month. What? Grandfather's test? He looked at me. You have passed. But you have taken down the East City Plot A, toppled the Liu family, and made Su Yarrow admit her fault willingly. He counted on his fingers. Any one of those would have been 10 times harder than drawing a single blueprint. Grandfather called me this morning. His voice carried a smile. He said, "This girl is tougher than I expected." I like that. I was stunned. So, he looked at me. The 1-month test has been cancelled. Then what you said earlier. I said I wanted to see to what extent you could go. He smiled. Now I know. To what extent? To the extent that no one else could achieve, including me. The construction site lights shone on his face, flickering. Ho Tingxiao, I looked at him. That secret you mentioned, now I'll tell you. He stepped closer. I have known you for more than 3 months. I froze. 5 years ago. His voice was very soft. You were giving an academic lecture in Chicago. I was sitting in the audience. What? The academic forum of the Pritzker Prize. You spoke about architecture and humanity. He looked at me. That day, you wore a white dress, stood on stage, and spoke for 40 minutes. I sat in the last row. Listened from start to finish. When the presentation ended, I wanted to find you, but my assistant blocked me, saying there was an urgent meeting. What happened after? Later, I heard that you returned to the country, that you followed Lu Tingshan, that you gave up everything. His voice carried a bitterness. I wanted to find you, but it was too late. Why? Because you belonged to someone else. The wind blew in, carrying the scent of earth and rebar. Shen Qingwan, he looked at me. I arranged your marriage not because of a deal. Then why? Because I like you. His voice was very light. I've liked you for 5 years. The construction site noise suddenly grew distant. I could only hear my own heartbeat. Hu Tingxiao, I looked at him. You don't have to answer me. He stepped back. I'm just telling you the truth. If you think this is moral coercion, I grabbed his tie, pulled him down, and kissed him. His lips were cool, with a minty flavor. He was startled for a second, then he reached around my waist and deepened the kiss. The construction site lights shone on us. Our shadows stretched long. In the distance, pile drivers were still operating, step by step, like a heartbeat. He released me, foreheads touching. Shen Qingwan, is this you agreeing to me? No. I looked at him. I'm warning you. Warning what? If you dare to treat me like Lu Tingshan did. I tugged his tie. I'll make you suffer even more than him. He laughed, a very happy laugh. Shen Qingwan, I won't. Why? Because I'm not Lu Tingshan. He looked into my eyes. I am Hu Tingxiao. Is there a difference? There is. He lowered his head and whispered in my ear. Lu Tingshan ruined you for 3 years. I will spend a lifetime paying you back. I pushed him away. That's cheesy. He laughed out loud, took my hand. Come on, let's go see your design. Now. We walked side by side toward the construction site. The road beneath us rough and uneven, but his steps were steady. Hu Tingxiao. I stopped. That land, is it really going to be a parking lot? Are you still debating that? I just want to know. He looked at me and smiled. It's a complex, he said. The design is yours. You name it. I thought for a moment. Let's call it Qingwan. Qingwan. He raised an eyebrow. Naming it after your own name. Can't I? Sure. He squeezed my hand. Of course you can. The construction site lights shined on us, our shadows stretching very long. Far away, the city skyline glittered in the night, like a galaxy fallen to Earth. This man waited for me for 5 years, and I wasted 3 years on someone unworthy. But from today, everything changes, because I know the person truly worth it will never make you wait. The identification center meeting room was kept cool by the air conditioning. On the long table lay 3 DNA reports, belonging to Lu Tingshan, Lu Boheng, and Lu Tingshan's mother Wang Shufen. Lu Boheng sat at the far end, looking pale, his teacup already cold. Wang Shufen sat beside him, head bowed, hands twisted together. Lu Tingshan sat in the middle, eyes red, staring hard at the reports on the table. Hu Tingshao sat next to me, fingers tapping softly on the table. Mr. Lu, the director of the identification center, pushed up his glasses. According to the DNA comparison results, no need to read them. Lu Boheng interrupted him, voice exhausted as if about to fall apart. I'll look myself. He picked up the report and turned to the first page. After 3 seconds, his hands began to tremble. This is impossible. Dad, Lu Tingshan spoke. Don't call me Dad. Lu Boheng slammed the report on the table. You're not my son. Lu Tingshan's face turned pale. Wang Shufen. Lu Boheng turned to the woman. Tell me, what's going on? Wang Shufen looked up. Her expression changed from guilt to a twisted sense of relief. Boheng, do you remember 30 years ago? Lu Boheng was stunned. 30 years ago, when we got married, we agreed to love only me in this life. Wang Shufen's voice trembled. But less than a year after the wedding, you had a child with another woman. That woman is Tingshan's biological mother. Wang Shufen pointed at Lu Tingshan. You had a child with her, and you wanted to bring her into the family. It was me who stopped you. So I swapped the child. Wang Shufen's voice was frighteningly calm. I sent away the child of you and that woman and brought back a baby from an orphanage. That baby, she said, pointing at Lu Tingshan, is him. The conference room fell into deathly silence. Lu Tingshan's face changed from white to green, then green to purple. He stared at Wang Shufen. Aren't you my mom? No. Wang Shufen looked at him. You're an orphan. I took you from the orphanage. Why? Lu Tingshan's voice was sharp as a knife scraping glass. Why would you do this? Because I hate your dad. Wang Shufen smiled, the smile twisted enough to chill people. He betrayed me, so I destroyed his bloodline. Letting a foundling inherit his family business, wouldn't that be the best revenge? Lu Boheng's hands trembled. Wang Shufen, you've gone crazy. Wang Shufen stood up. Lu Boheng, when you betrayed me back then, did you ever think I would go mad? 30 years. Wang Shufen's voice took on a sob. I've watched this foundling call you dad every day, watched him squander your family's fortune every day, waited for the day the truth would come out. Now, she smiled, I've finally waited for it. Lu Tingshan collapsed into the chair, as if all his bones had been drawn out. So, his voice hollow, I am not a son of the Lu family, right? Wang Shufen looked at him. You are nothing. Lu Tingshan suddenly stood up, the chair tipping to the floor. You ruined me, ruined you. Wang Shufen sneered. Lu Tingshan, you think you're a good person. You think you're here today because you're surnamed Lu. Deep down you're a scoundrel. Even if you are the biological son of the Lu family, you would ruin everything. Shut up, Lu Tingshan shouted. Shen Qingwan. Wang Shufen turned to me. Thank you for letting me see this day. She turned and walked away, her high heels striking the ground with every step, each thud like a funeral bell. The conference room was left with only the 4 of us. Lu Boheng sat in his chair like a statue. Lu Tingshan stood there, his expression from anger to despair, from despair to emptiness. Lu Tingshan, I stood up. You understand now, don't you? He looked at me with hollow eyes. All your pride, all your superiority, was built on a lie. You think you're a noble-born young master, but you're an orphan. You think you deserve everything, but you deserve nothing. Shut up. His voice was very soft. All the words you said that hurt me. If you leave me, you're nothing. Now it's your turn. I'll make you shut up, he roared. Lu Tingshan, Hu Tingxiao. Stood up. You have no Lu family protection now, no shares, no money. What do you have to roar with? Lu Tingshan stepped back a pace and slammed into the wall. I'll give you 24 hours. Hu Tingxiao's voice was cold. To leave this city, otherwise, the prosecutor's arrest warrant will be sent directly to the hotel you stay in. Lu Tingshan stared at us, lips trembling. Shen Qingwan, his voice was soft. Do you really want to kill without mercy? It's not that I want to show no mercy. I looked at him. It's you who walked to this point. His tears fell. If I hadn't betrayed you back then, there are no ifs. I turned and walked outside. Shen Qingwan, his voice came from behind me. I was wrong. I really was wrong. I didn't look back. Please give me another chance, Lu Tingshan. I stopped in my tracks. Not turning back. I've given you 3 years of chances. You never valued a single one. Now, there are none left. I pushed the door open and walked out. In the corridor, sunlight poured in through the floor-to-ceiling windows, warm and mellow. Hu Tingxiao caught up with me and held my hand. Are you all right? Very well. I looked at the sunlight outside the window. I've never felt this good. Then let's go. He led me toward the elevator. Grandfather said there's a family banquet tonight to celebrate you passing the test. Another family banquet. Yes, another family banquet. He pressed the elevator button. This time, my mother won't trouble you again. Why? Because you brought down the Lu family. He smiled. My mother's biggest rival is Lu Bohang's wife. If you help her crush her rivals, she's more than pleased. The elevator doors opened. We stepped in. Hu Tingxiao. I looked at him. What kind of person is your mother? A very strong-willed person. He paused. But she's not bad. She's just worried the Hua family business will be stolen by outsiders. What about you? I looked at him. Are you worried? Not worried. He lowered his head to look at me. Because you won't steal. You will create. The elevator arrived on the first floor. Doors opened. He turned to the side to let me go first. Let's go, designer Shen. Where to? To buy a gift. He led me out of the building. For the first formal banquet. You can't come empty-handed. What should we buy? For my mom. He thought for a moment. She likes jewelry. But you can't give jewelry. Why? Because she already has too much jewelry. He laughed. Give her something she hasn't seen before. What? Your design. He took a phone out of his pocket and pulled up a photo. Design a modern version of a family crest for my mom. She's been talking about this for years. No one has been able to do it. I looked at the photo, my mind starting to conceive. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days to present the plan. He smiled. Shen Qingwan, are you good at designing everything? Not everything. I looked at him. I can't design junk. He was stunned for a second, then laughed out loud. The sunlight shone on his face, his smile very handsome. Let's go. He took my hand. Home, home, Hua family. He squeezed my hand. And in the future, it will also be your home. Hua's private island, South China Sea. This was an island the Hua family bought 10 years ago. Not large, but with stunning scenery, white beaches, blue seas. A resort hotel and a private villa had been built on the island. The wedding was held on the island's lawn. 300 guests, all top figures from the political and business worlds. The red carpet stretched from the lawn to the sea, with white roses and hydrangeas lining the sides. I stood on the villa's balcony, looking at the distant horizon. I wore a wedding dress I designed myself, white satin, mermaid silhouette, back covered with lace cutouts. The veil was 3 meters long, embroidered with the Hua family crest and the logo of my design studio. Su Yarrow stood behind me, helping me arrange the veil. Director Shen, you look absolutely beautiful today. Thank you. When Mr. Ho saw you, he definitely wouldn't be able to walk. I smiled. If he can't walk, who will walk the red carpet? Su Yarrow laughed too. The door was pushed open, and old Mr. Ho walked in. He wore a deep blue Zhongshan suit, a red flower pinned to his chest, looking vigorous. Miss Shen. He looked at me. Are you ready? Ready. Grandpa. Still calling me Grandpa. He raised an eyebrow. I was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Grandpa. He nodded with satisfaction. Let's go. Don't make Tingxiao wait. I took the old man's arm and walked out of the villa. The sun was blazing. The sea breeze blew. The veil fluttered. At the end of the red carpet, Ting Xiaoho stood there. He wore a white suit, a red bow tie, the same color as the red dress I wore the first time we met. When he saw me, he froze. 3 steps, 5 steps, 10 steps. He really hadn't moved. Ting Xiao, the old man shouted. Go. He finally recovered, walked quickly over, took my hand from the old man. Grandpa, thank you. The old man patted his shoulder. Treat her well, otherwise I won't spare you. I will. Ting Xiaoho squeezed my hand. Let's go. We walked side by side on the red carpet, guests on both sides clapping, cheering, scattering petals. The sea breeze blew, the veil fluttered, tangled around his shoulders. He laughed, reached out to help me loosen it. Shen Qingwan, you're stunning today for all to see. Ting Xiaoho, you're handsome today beyond reason as well. We reached the stage. The witnessing notary was an old friend of Ho's grandfather, a highly respected retired judge. Mr. Ting Xiaoho, do you consent to marry Miss Shen Qingwan as your wife, in poverty or wealth, in sickness or health, to love, respect, and protect her, until death do you part? Ting Xiaoho looked into my eyes. I do. His voice was steady. But I'll add one condition. The room fell silent. In poverty or wealth, in sickness or health, I will love her, respect her, protect her, and he smiled. Never let her design a parking lot. The room burst into laughter. I rolled my eyes at him. Miss Shen Qingwan, are you willing to marry Mr. Ting Xiaoho as your husband, in poverty or wealth, in sickness or health, to love him, respect him, support him, until death do you part? I looked into his eyes. I am willing. I paused. But I'll add one more. What? The notary asked. If he dares betray me. I glanced at Ting Xiaoho. I'll make him suffer more than Lu Tingshan. The room gasped. Ting Xiaoho laughed, a very happy laugh. I agree, he said. If I betray you, you can blow me up into fireworks. That's fine. The notary cleared his throat. I declare you officially husband and wife. Ting Xiaoho lowered his head and kissed me. The sea breeze blew, the veil fluttered, covering us. In the distance, fireworks bloomed. Although it was daytime, the fireworks' glow was still clearly visible. Applause, cheers, music mingled together. He loosened me, foreheads touching. Shen Qingwan, happy wedding. Ting Xiaoho, happy wedding. From now on, call me husband. No, just say it once. No, if you say it, I'll give you a gift. What gift? He pulled a small box from his pocket and opened it. Inside was a key. What is this? The deed of that piece of land in the south of the city. He looked at me. Written with your name. I was stunned. 100 billion worth of land. You gave it to me. Not gave. He placed the box into my hand. I'm giving it back to you. What do you mean? That piece of land is the value you designed. Without your plan, it's only worth 5 billion. With your plan, it's worth 10 billion. He looked at me. Shen Qingwan, your value has never needed anyone else to define it. I held the key, unable to speak. Call out one word. He smiled. Call me husband. I looked at him, took a deep breath. Husband. His eyes brightened. One more time. Husband. One more. I grabbed his tie and kissed him. The sea breeze, the sunshine, the fireworks, the applause all swallowed by this kiss. In the distance, someone shouted, "Give us a kiss, a kiss." We were already kissing. After the wedding, guests dispersed. The island was left with just the two of us. The sun was setting. The sea turned gold. We walked barefoot on the beach. The hem of the wedding dress in my hand. Hu Tingxiao. I stopped. Today is the happiest day of my life. Why? Because from today on, I looked at the sea. I don't need to prove anything anymore. He came to my side and took my hand. Shen Qingwan, you never need to prove anything. Then why did you let me go to the Hua family old home? Why let me attend the auction? Why let me bring down the Lu clan? Because you need it. He looked into my eyes. You need to take back everything that belongs to you with your own hands. If I help you take it, you'll never be at peace. I was stunned. You know, of course I know. He smiled. You think I sent you to the auction because I couldn't lift the sign. Then because I understand you. His voice was soft. Shen Qingwan, you aren't the kind of woman who needs saving by others. What you need is opportunity, not charity. I gave you the opportunity. You seized it yourself. That's you. The setting sun shone on his face, gilding his silhouette. Xiao, why did you wait 5 years for me? Because you're worth it. His voice was soft. 5 years ago, when you were giving a report in Chicago, I knew this woman is worth me waiting a lifetime for. What? If I never came back, then I would be waiting forever. What if I married Lu Tingshan? Then I would wait for your divorce. If Shen Qingwan, he interrupted me. There are no ifs. You're here now, by my side. That's enough. Waves slapped the shore, one after another, like a heartbeat. Let's go. He led me back. Tonight there's still a fireworks show. Still, yes, it looks better at night. We walked side by side on the beach, our footprints washed away by the waves. Gone. But some things won't be erased. For example, 5 years of waiting. For example, 3 months of fighting side by side. For example, this kiss. For example, this key. For example, Shen Qingwan. He suddenly stopped. There's something I've never told you. What? Lu Tingshan was arrested last night. I froze. An arrest warrant signed by the procuratorate, charged with multiple crimes, at least 10 years. Wasn't he leaving this city? No. Xiao shook his head. He took that 100 million and went to the casino. He lost it all in one night. And then he went to find Wang Shufan, saying he would perish with her. Wang Shufan reported it to the police. I was silent for a few seconds. Shen Qingwan, he looked at me. Are you sad? Not sad. I looked at the sea. Just a pity. Pity what? Pity that a person can push themselves to such a point. He squeezed my hand. Come on. Don't think about it. Fireworks bloom in the night sky, red, green, purple, and gold, lighting up the whole heavens. How Tingxiao hugs me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. Shen Qingwan, congrats on your wedding. You've said that 3 times. Then I'll say it again. Congrats on your wedding. I smile. How Tingxiao, you too. The fireworks continue to blaze, one after another, as if they would never stop. The waves crash onto the beach, and the wind blows from the sea, carrying a salty scent. This man has waited for me for 5 years, and I, finally, no longer have to wait, because the best has always been by my side. It just took me 3 years to learn who is trash and who is treasure, but it's all right. The rest of my life is long. End of the full text.